My name is Pat Marum, and I'm proposing a 2-hour segment on coach supervision that gives a sampler experience for reflective coaches at conference. The session would be called Coach Supervision, a proven method of professional development for any reflective coach who's interested in claiming new territory. Now, supervision is simply the bringing of our work experience to a specially trained other in order to learn from it. My bona fides, well, I've been coaching since 2000. I'm a member of ICF since that time. I have been supervising since 2009. Locally, I was one of the founding members of the local ICF chapter and also past president, multi-board year member of that. Globally, I've served 1 year on regulatory, 4 years on credentialing and program accreditation. 2 of those years included leadership, one as vice chair and one as chair. I'm an assessor, been doing that for several years, and during my chairship year for Global Credentialing Committee, I also was responsible for all quarterly global training calls in terms of developing and delivering the content, as well as the 3-hour pre-conference session that takes place at conference. I also teach, train, and mentor for several ACTO coach training programs. International coaches know me through a number of ways, one of which is that I was host for about a dozen of the fall 2009 membership calls around the ICF board proposal concerning credentialing. They certainly know me the assessors certainly know me globally from my work as their chair and deliverer of content during my chairship year. I took my training in Europe, and so I have international connections there. It was actually an international cohort. And also on my work as the credentialing chair. So I'm known fairly well, at least by voice, if not by name, internationally. The purpose of this session is to give an experience of coach supervision to the attending coach. Supervision is not really that well known in terms of a viable and valuable option in the United States, well, in the Americas, except perhaps as an internal program monitoring sort of device. Very often there it has a flavor of being more program management, engagement management, and also it is probably the gateway to moving up the food chain of coaching the higher level employee. So the very issues that might make someone a better coach are sometimes not brought to the supervisor, who's probably not a specially trained person, but probably somebody who rose through the ranks, because it could be seen as impeding their progress. So it also can have an evaluative nature in the internal programs. Aside from that, though, the concept of coach supervision just is not that well known for anybody outside of their original training, or perhaps the mentoring piece that comes just past the original training stages. Why me? Well, I understand that there are other North American coaches who are finishing international coach supervision training, which is good. They're coming on about 1 a year right now. I'm still the first, and I'm still the only one that's been through an ICF CEU approved program. Plus, I believe that because I have a certain credibility as a leader in the coach world, that it gives some weight to the concept in terms of having a coach consider it just a little bit more carefully than they might otherwise. I think when someone takes a stand for an issue, who's seen as having a little bit of a leadership role, that gives it some credibility. The program I am talking about offering is in a 2-hour block, similar to what I offered at 2010 conference, the only difference being that the actual group supervision exercise would have much longer time, which makes it closer to what a real coach supervision group experience would be. It's made up of 4 parts. Those parts would still be there. The first is a conceptual framework for the concept. The second one is an opportunity to interact with MCC or PCC coaches who have taken supervision with me, or other international coaches who are there who have taken supervision. The third would be the actual group supervision experience with a time for a debrief and a learning consolidation. And the fourth piece is an opportunity to discuss how to devise some coach supervision-like experiences in their locale, at least in terms of peer supervision, while we're waiting for access to trained individuals to catch up with demand. So that's the 4-part offering that I'm wanting to deliver in a 2-hour block. I delivered for the first and third part, that is the conceptual framework and a short group supervision exercise to my chapter in 2009 to very enthusiastic response. And I delivered all 4 parts of that to 2010 conference. What makes this different is that it would be a much deeper group supervision experience, and that is the selling point for this concept in the first place. So it makes it entirely different in terms of what they would get out of it. I received a 9+, by the way, in terms of evaluation by those who were attending that conference, including the 20% international coaches who had taken supervision. That was very gratifying to me. It's time now for this concept to be making its way across the Americas, and certainly in North America. It's gaining momentum worldwide. There's great momentum in South Africa, Australia, Asia is picking it up. We're a little bit behind here in North America, and it's time for us to catch up. Coach supervision is a bold new concept for any reflective coach at any point in their career who's interested in claiming new territory at the edges of their coaching experience. When we're coaching on our own frontiers, and hopefully most of us are doing that at least occasionally, pushing against those boundaries, there are some inherent risks. And coach supervision, in addition to deepening our personal and professional levels of development, also does quite a bit towards mitigating those risks. I look forward to discussing this opportunity in further depth. Thank you.